Hey everybody, how we doing? How we feel? Listen, I want to welcome you to Genesis of my talk show. Game ain't over. Yeah, you heard it right. Game ain't over. I also have with me Brother Shedrich Webster, uh, my friend and brother Damon Jennings. Good to have these two brothers with me. I don't know what I would do without them. They bring in so much energy here, and the reason why I brought them to be on the show with me. And Shedrich is my co-host. Almost host. He's so valuable and he brings so much to the table. And so what we're going to be doing is bringing some of you to this talk show and get to know you a little bit better and want to know some of the things that has affected your life and we really want to ask the question, when did you know that the game wasn't over? When we talk about the game ain't over, we're talking about the game of life. Something, trauma, some accident, some experiences that you went through and you thought you weren't going to make it through. Yeah. And something mysterious happened, something spiritually happened. I want to say God came through for you. As a matter of fact, I want to share a story with you all before we allow our co-host and Damon Jennings behind the scene. He's got a lot to share. He's got a lot of life in him, man, both spiritual and professional. On yesterday, I was at the clinic and I was sitting there rewriting my story. The Emmanuel story, the story of my life. Game ain't over. And I was rewriting it to make it even better story and sort of renew my story because I've blossomed since the story. So I wanted to do the rewriting, but while I was rewriting the story, I saw a young man, not a young man, but an old man dying right before me, right before my eyes. He was in a wheelchair, and I saw him looked like his last breath, and he dropped whatever was in his hand, right? And man, this is an experience, right? And then he began to take slow breaths, and all of a sudden, the team ran out and gave him some air. His pulse was good. He started to breathe regularly, and he got up talking and speaking with clarity. And while all of that was going on, I prayed to God that he would send this man his guardian angel. And when I saw all of that take place, you know what I said? I said, game ain't over. That person got a story to tell. And so that is the question I want to ask you. You've been through something and God's been good to you. So the question I want to ask my co-host, when did you, my brother, realize that your game wasn't over? What was your recovery, what you go through?
I guess the easiest story for me to tell about that is in September of 2021, woke up, going about my day like I typically do. I was working from home for a company as a recruiter at the time. And so I would get up 3 or 4 hours before it was time for me to start work. Yeah. And I would get a workout in, get some breakfast in, those types of things. And so I was going about my day doing the things that I typically do. And I felt what felt like my hand was sleep. You know, when you sleep all on your body.
Right.
You get that tingling feeling.
Right. Been there.
About 5:30, 6 in the morning. I'm feeling that. Thinking it would dissipate, just go away. About 8, 9, 10, it wasn't going away. As a matter of fact, it began to move up.
Oh.
I got concerned. And so my son, who had been away at college, had come back home, decided he started college during the COVID year, decided it wasn't for him. He didn't like the setup, so he came back home. And luckily he was home and was able to drive me to the yard. They rushed me in. took me back, gave me an MRI, did some tests right there at the ER, and they said, no, we got to get you over to the main hospital. And so they transported me there. That's all I remember from that situation. Then I remember waking up, had a stroke and a heart attack.
Oh, wow.
45 years old, 44 years old, had a stroke and a heart attack. My blood pressure was like 2 something over 180 or 190. My glucose levels were through the roof. Weight was over 340 at that time. And man, on the immediacy when it happened, when I was able to kind of get out of the hospital, get home, and get settled, and able to get to my cell phone where I can make some phone calls, send some text messages, I knew enough that I need to reach out to some specific people to pray for. We've had specific prayer warriors in our church. I've had the opportunity to build strong relationships with some praying folks, some folks who I know fervently pray, and I reached out to them, reached out to you, reached out to young and old. And man, as they prayed, I could feel myself getting better.
Wow.
As they prayed for me, the recovery began to happen.
Wow.
One of the things that happened in my recovery is I found a physician, an earthly physician who was actually a doctor of osteopathy. I think I said that right. He's a DO, which osteopathic medicine. So which means he's more holistic than just medicinal.
You think that was a game changer?
It was definitely a game changer because in the hospital, the cardiologist that did my surgery and the immediacy, he prescribed me about 15 medications. And, I don't mind telling this story, but I should have known something was up when they told me the cardiologist's name. His name was Dr. Killian.
Dr. Killian.
Dr. Killian was his name. I don't think he tried to kill me, but he prescribed me 15 different medications.
Dr. Killian.
Dr. Killian was his name. Exactly. And he prescribed me 15 different medications, and what he prescribed was medication he prescribed everyone who came out of heart attack and stroke.
Ain't God good, man? I mean,
and then this DO,
right,
and a black man in his early 50s.
Wow.
He immediately said, these medications don't work for us because they hadn't been tested. One of the things that we understand about the Food and Drug Administration in our country, they have a hard time testing black people for medications because there's been abuses in clinical trials in the past.
Right.
So we're distrusting of that. Honestly, you could not pay me enough to be a part of a clinical trial. It doesn't matter what I have.
Right.
You couldn't pay me enough to be a part of a clinical trial at this point. And so I understand why some of the medications have never been tested on us. And so we don't realize until they get out into the real world that they don't work for us. My doctor knew immediately, hey, we're taking you off of these. And it immediately dealt with some of my symptoms and my side effects. Man, for the first couple of days, I couldn't sleep.
Yeah.
Uncomfortable at night. Couldn't sleep in my bed, couldn't sleep in the couch.
Let me break in on this, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Keep it in your mind, right? Gotcha. So, same thing happened to me, right? I went to a genius, a doctor. He says to me, right, this is my life. This is your life.
Yeah.
You have a life.
Yeah.
Something has happened to you. Listen, and you recover. It's a game changer. I went to him. He said, listen, you're going down. Right? You're going down. He says, give me about 35 days, 40 days. He says, I have you going up. He said, what's happening to you is that all of your organs are not operating or functioning like they should because they're not getting the nutrients in your, he said some other things, but he gave me holistic stuff.
Yeah.
Did not give me medication.
Yeah.
He did not give me medication. He gave me all this stuff that would get all of my organs functioning the right way. I'm 50 years old. 35, 40 days, I was 35. Game ain't over, brother.
Let me tell you something else about Dr. Killian. I had to do a follow-up with him.
Yeah.
when I went to the follow-up,
Mm-hmm.
before even asking me was I still taking the medication, he said, man, all your numbers look amazing.
Yeah.
Don't let anybody change what I've done for you.
Right. Yeah.
He said, don't let anybody change my medications. Don't let anybody else touch what I've done. What he didn't know is that my PCP, the DO, had already adjusted the medications.
Wow.
Had already got me on the right track.
Yeah.
And so the results that he was reading weren't those results weren't because of him. They were because of my PCP, and actually not even because of my PCP. When I filled out the paperwork, the initial intake paperwork with PCP, one question stood out to me. Can I pray for you today?
Wow.
At my doctor's office.
Wow.
Can I pray for you today?
Man.
That was a question in the patient questionnaire. Of course, I marked yes. Before we did anything, he said, God, this is your son. Give me guidance on what to do with him.
Wow. Listen. Back to the story I was telling of the gentleman in the clinic that was passing away. One of the things that came to my attention was the topic I was preaching on Sunday. Is that these are God's children too. Yeah. So not only was the angel over it all, but these people who had gotten thoughts and ideas of how to make this stuff and how to make it work with wisdom. I said, man, look at God at work.
God created all that. Yeah. And think about how much more effective they would be if they sought after the creator.
Right.
The man. Would you want to go to take your vehicle to the auto body shop if they never consulted the manufacturer's warranty? The
Absolutely. Good point.
We want OEM parts, original manufacturer parts. We want a certified mechanic working on our vehicle because we know that they understand this product to the base level because they've studied it.
Right.
You can study as much as you want about the human body, but until you go to the manufacturer, you won't have a holistic view.
Wow.
When you go to the manufacturer and you depend on the manufacturer, you get results like you take a 44-year-old man who weighs over 340 pounds. You take him from 220 over 180 blood pressure. You take him from a point where he probably couldn't run a mile. Dude, I'm walking 3-4 miles.
Oh, wow.
At a time.
God is good, man.
They say that 80% of adult men can't do 5 to 7 push-ups. I can knock out 12. I couldn't do that before pre-stroke and heart attack. Right?
God, don't shame me, man.
It's all right. But I'm in such better. And it prompted me to take a look at a lot of different things. Again, I got a holistic doctor. He never advised me on what to eat other than said, you need to eat better. And we need to understand what things you put in our body. I went out and did some research on my own. I stopped eating a lot of things I used to eat. And it's not that I can't eat those things. I can choose to eat those things. But I don't get to choose the result of what me eating those things, right?
Right.
I've had all the meat that I can eat in my life. I don't need anymore. I've had my fill. I've also had my fill of bread, so no more biscuits and waffles, pancakes, cakes and pies. I've had my fill of those things across my life. So now I need to reshape, and now I'm putting a lot of plants in my body. And so I go to the sun.
What about the plants?
I put a lot of plants in my body.
Gotcha.
So, and what
wisdom.
I go to the sun, SON, and then I ingest the sun, SUN. How do I ingest the sun? By eating all the things that are created by the sun. And so I want fruits and vegetables because they're created by the sun. I want water and coconut water, alkaline water, those things that are created by the sun, powered by the sun. And I like to spend as much time out in the sun as possible. So even if it's cold outside, let me wrap up. I still want to go out and get some sun.
Absolutely.
And so what am I eating? Sun.
Sun, yeah. That's good, man.
Can't go wrong with that.
Never heard it better.
That's all I eat.
Yeah.
That's all I ingest. And then think about, man, if that's all I ingest in my head and in my heart too.
Yeah.
Not quite there yet.
Yeah.
There's still some things that I ingest that are, I'm not all the way in Philippians 4:8, where it says, think on these things.
Right.
Whatsoever, brother, whatsoever things are good, proper, all those things that are there. That's my goal, to get there. But physically, what I eat in my body, those are things I intake. I intake the sun there. And so you change your algorithm. We all know what the algorithm is. Everybody's on social media. Right?
Right.
If you watch this, guess what's the next video is going to pop up? Some more motivational,
yes.
Some more inspirational.
Yes.
If you watch this, and then you continue to watch it. Now, if you watch twerk videos, that's what's going to pop up. More twerk videos.
That's right.
If you watch fight videos, that's going to pop up. More fight videos.
Yeah.
Whatever you watch, it continue to pop up, right? We learned it early on, garbage in, garbage out. You are what you eat.
Yeah.
You will be exactly what you ingest.
Yeah.
And so if you want to know what somebody ate, what's the fruit? What are they doing? My game ain't over because I've changed my algorithm.
What about the colors of fruit and vegetables?
Man, so I love colors. So when I make a salad, it's more than just green. When I eat like lettuce, I want the darkest, leafiest, greenest lettuce. That dark green lettuce has a lot more proteins in it.
Right.
Since I don't eat meat proteins or plant proteins, or animal-based proteins, I've got to have plant proteins. That's in the beans. And so I get a black bean, a white bean, a brown bean, eat those beans. Love corn, that's a good source of protein. Again, I got a yellow. And then I like a lot of, like I said, the leafy greens, purples and the cabbages, those types of things. Avocados, eat a lot of avocados. That's got a lot of protein. And so there's a lot of plant-based proteins. People always ask me, man, how do you get your protein? The same way cows get their protein.
Absolutely.
Cows don't eat meat.
Absolutely.
They get their protein from plants.
And we eat them.
We eat them.
Right.
Yeah, we go to cows for our source of protein.
Right.
And they don't eat meat for their protein. You know who else doesn't eat meat for their protein? Gorillas. How many healthy, skinny gorillas or healthy, skinny cows have you seen?
So we have learned just some good stuff by listening to our brother Shedrich's story. Listen, you have a story.
Yeah.
God has done something for you, not just for me, Shedrich, but Damon. You have one, and we want to invite you to this show. And we want to let you know that whatever you've been through, whatever you have encountered in life that have shut you down, I always say this. You know why cheerleaders cheer at a basketball, football game, baseball, soccer? Is because, and no matter how, the score is, you can be losing by 50 points, but they're still cheering. You know why? Because the game ain't over. You've been knocked down, looked over, kicked out, kicked to the curb, as they say. But no matter what has happened to you, you have a story to tell. Let me tell you this. I want you to understand what I'm about to say. There is power in telling your story. There's power in telling your story, and somebody needs to hear your story. So I'm glad that you are tuned in today, and we look forward to you being at the show, because we want to invite people to be in person here with us and ask some questions. So until next time, we want to say to you, game ain't over. God bless all of you.